What do you think about the mayor's decision on keep the school opening right
I mean, the decision is based on the 3%, right?
now?
Threshold of like positive case rates in New York City. So I think that case rate is okay because of how dense New York City is. I still do think there's issues around ventilation, for instance. Um,
Hmm.
like a lot of people's windows have to be open in order to teach. And we know that we need things like air exchange rates as my students are eating lunch in the classrooms, as my students and I like are in the classroom for 5 hours. It doesn't matter how far away you are. It doesn't matter if you're socially distanced. If you're all sharing that same air and the open window isn't uh, circulating air in, or maybe there's just no wind outside, like who's to say that air is actually flowing in that classroom? So there's a lot of concerns that I still have over that, because the supplies we're getting are, like wipes and gloves. Only about a third of students are going in at any given time, right? And then only about 26% of students are getting instruction in person at all this school year, according to the mayor's own numbers. So, of course, like the coronavirus hasn't spread as much as we think because there's like a quarter of kids in classrooms right now. And it's even less than a quarter of that because only a third of those students are going in every day because of the blended hybrid model right now. A lot of teachers are expecting us to go fully remote by Thanksgiving, given these rates. Who knows if that'll happen, but the models and the amount of learning that's about to happen and the device issues and the Wi-Fi issues are still going to be issues whether you're remote or in person.
But in the meantime, there are a lot of parents complaining that virtual classes are not helping their
Yeah,
kids. Yeah. So what do you think?
we teachers don't want that either, but at the same time, like, what are we going to prioritize? Are we going to prioritize lives, or are we going to prioritize that learning? It's not about like individual kids learn. And I'll also say that we all are concerned about this as teachers. Like, I've seen like, kids being less motivated at home. I get it. I do, because I teach every day. um at the same time, I have seen like kids actually reading at higher levels, at least anecdotally, in my own classroom. Like, I've seen a lot of kids actually improve from their reading levels from last year. I did kind of informal testing. And it's because remote learning requires the ability to read and write. Most teachers, pretty much all of the teachers I know, are completely burnt out because we are putting our curriculum online for the very first time, all of us. And those teachers who are in person who have to teach 3 cohorts without enough staff. Like, as of I think a week or two ago, there were still 77,000 students without devices. And the iPads that we were given, like, some of them don't even open up YouTube, or other links that are needed to uh, use the Google Classrooms, for instance. So there's so many other issues that are making remote learning hard. Over the course of the last month, most of my teaching was helping kids troubleshoot how to even submit assignments or use Zoom or get Wi-Fi on their iPads because they didn't have the administrator passwords, and other ridiculous things that could have been solved if we had had the summer to have been trained and to get kids their devices. A lot of parents want in-person learning to stay, for sure, and I think that students with special needs and our youngest students should have the option to be in person, because a lot of our students really do need in person. I think the real frustration is that there hasn't been time or guidance to really make remote learning work.
Do you think there has to be some sort of training going on before the school actually, like you said, maybe will go fully remote by Thanksgiving? So what do
Yeah,
you think the
so
city should do?
give us time, give us planning time to do to learn how to remote teach. And especially since a lot of educators came this weekend saying, I don't know how to remote teach. We've been doing in person like since September 29th, and then all of a sudden November 13th being told to grab all your things and possibly teach remote Monday. A lot of teachers were scrambling, uh, and complaining because we haven't gotten the time to plan. We're expected to do everything, and frustrate parents